Hey, I wonder how long that is. Let me put it's not recording.
Don't even say that. I was doing an interview.
Sometimes I'm mystery, sometimes I'm free, depending on my mood or my attitude. Sometimes I wanna roll or stay at home.
Now that we have sort of understood the process or rather what you do, I want you to take us through your process, maybe on a daily or maybe a weekly or a monthly. You're like, okay, so this is what I want to be done. This is who I'm going to reach out to, and this is how I'm going to go about it. Of course, not telling us your trade secrets, but yeah, how do you go about the different processes in the magazine or getting it to, by the time you're getting an article out there, what do you go through, or rather what goes through your mind and all that?
So first I have to think about the theme. Coming up with themes is the most difficult thing that is there. So what I do is Pinterest saves everybody. So I go through Pinterest, I create a mood board. So I base my photo shoots on style, what this kind of mood board. Like there's just something you just see. Like I can't really tell what it is, but there's something I see, and then I pick the theme of that. I share it. So I have a few people who volunteer and say they are volunteers in the team. So they'll help with styling, and then some will help with articles. So I come up with a theme, and then we all go out to look for artists. So I'll find the ones I know. So for the first part, I start with people I know. So for people I know, I usually hope when I put a story, I put a caption, guys will add more people. So let's say, okay, since I have 2 pages, my main feed I'll follow everybody. And then Nanasi feed I strive to follow people who do art, so that the For You page is more artistic. So you'll just find art pop-ups come up, and then I'll go, depending on how I'll study the profile, and then I'll send it to the writers. I'll be like, okay, I'll approach the person, I send it to the writers, I'll be like, okay, this is one person of interest. So you just go through their profile and see if you can get any questions, and then I'll reach back to them and send them questions. So I'm usually the mediator between the writers and so for the questions, most of the questions, I get the writers to help me do the questions. I do some of the questions. And then for now layout, I'm crunch time person.
You were under pressure.
Yes. So diamond. So that's when I design work for me isn't so hard, and I'm not really good at changing my design once I do it. So most of the time once I've done it. So I'll just do it once. If I decide I'll go through Canva, I say, okay, fine. Free app, man. People should actually use
that's
Canva.
Another thing, Canva is really good.
Yeah, so once I use Canva for design work, so writers send articles, I give guys a deadline. They send me pictures, because now COVID has made everyone now stay at home.
Yeah.
So they just send me their pictures of their work, Nini. So I give guys a 4-page spread. One self-page, the interview. If your pictures are nice, you now spread them all over the magazine.
This is me hoping my pictures are nice. Okay.
Depending on the number of pictures guys send, we just actually spread it all over. For now, we've been doing a lot of free features. So we mostly Instagram. I get most of the artists through Instagram, I think, and a few free slots through WhatsApp. But most of my artists, I just go through there's some feeds anyway.
You just see.
Yeah, yeah. That's even how I try and approach guys, international artists, so at least I've featured a few international artists as well. So I just go Instagram, some I email them, some I DM them, depending on the contacts now. Then feature. Yeah, so most of the time guys send their content and pieces to me.
So that's the process. Which it doesn't sound hard, but then have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome? You put something out there, or you want to work with someone or work on something, and you're like, but is it good enough? Am I good enough? Is what I'm putting out there good enough? And then now you start questioning why you're doing the whole thing. You're like, maybe I should just stop. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel sometimes you can look for content and you're like, hey, is this content as good as the content I got last month? Is it going to look, is this magazine as good as the one I did last month? So sometimes I usually have, hey, is my content enough? Is it good enough? Because now on the website, yes, there are impressions, but they're not the impressions I got from having the magazine. Because I took being a periodical, so I released some Kafika. So let me say there's one magazine that got to about 11,000 impressions. So I was like, hey, now I can sell this, but
like
so when I released the next magazine, the stats were like up, like 100th, if that's something. Yeah, so it was so minimal. So I was like, hey, is this magazine good enough? So it made me delay releasing even the next magazine.
Copy,
so you're like, okay, my content is so but now I said, you know what, the reason I'm doing this is because now I want to showcase guys, so let me just take it from that angle and not like look at it sana, because every guys will just be like, oh, I love it, I'm like, okay, fine. Relax. So whatever you do, you'll be fine with it. So just don't overthink it. Yeah.
And how have you dealt now? Like, of course, it's not always positive feedback, and sometimes it gets to your head, and you're just like, okay. Though as much as I can tell, you're very positive. Like, you pick out the positive stuff, and you'll be like, I'm gonna do this. I don't care what you think, but in a good way. But yeah, how have you dealt, like, over the 2 years? How have you dealt with people who come back to you and be like, I don't even know why you're doing this? Or have you met people who are like, it's trash, but anyway, do what you want?
So far, so good. Imagine.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, there's not been anyone who's like, what's your plan?
The only thing that I think bugs me out is when you reach out and guys don't like respond. Because you'll be like, and I'm putting in this effort and I want to, because sometimes you're like, I want to feature you. It's not my work, I want to feature you. So I think that's the only thing that bugs me out. But weirdly, I don't have any negative feedback.
Man, hallelujah! That's what we're here for, by the way.
A good thing. Let's just say a good thing I don't have.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, because I've noticed with a lot of creatives, that is the one thing, or one of the few things that make us lose sight of why we started something in the first place. Because you've set your mind, you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to put out content, I'm going to feature this artist, or I'm going to have this new segment, but then maybe you either don't get feedback at all, you're like, what? Like, no one is saying anything, or you get less positive feedback than the negative, and then now people are just like, yeah, I'm not too sure about what you're doing. And like for me, like sometimes I may put out a conversation that I want to have with people, and then maybe I get 2 or 3 responses, and I'm like, before it used to really bug me, as in, all that, as in, this is so much information, it's gold. And then guys are just like they'll pass through your stories, like, I really don't understand. You've read my stories, you've listened, and you just pass. Like, say something, guys, say something.
That's me. So I understand that, but it sucks because on the Instagram, because you'll have a question, it's be like, have you read? What did you like? What's your favorite segment? Then you'll be like, a few people read, but also those ones don't say anything.
Yeah, and then you're like,
Yeah, they know feedback bait. That one. Yeah.
yeah. So how do you not let that affect your day to day, your planning, your next issue, if anything?
Right now I think I want to re-strategize because if you look through what guys are doing right now, when some people first they make sure they engage you to a certain extent, so that the next time you ask a question, they kind of relate to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, that's what I've been studying. I've just been like, I know I need to do this, but so I'm like, I know I have to, like, for let's say Mananas, I have to start by introducing myself so that guys can be like, I know this person. They say, okay, this is what she or he is doing, and then moving forward, this is the shows I'm going to be looking out for. I'm going to be sharing this content because I'm feeling like video is more engaging
Then writing.
it down, and then also maybe someone didn't understand your question.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think like maybe the way I'd frame my question, guys wouldn't understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to like, then I want to redo how I do my content instead of, I think this month, because I'm like, I have the website, guys are not really visiting it, so what am I going to do? So I have to create content, engaging, like just talk. I think that's where we are right now. We just have to talk on Instagram, pull people in, and then maybe create a community of guys who actually like, even if it's just 10 people, and then they start engaging with you, and then I also learn, comment on people's stuff, they comment on yours.
That's true. That's very true. That's true, yeah.
Yeah, so that is something else I'm trying to like when I'm online, I'm gonna be commenting on people's stuff. Oh, this is nice. Appreciate people's stuff, and then people,
it will come back to you.
Yes. So you just have to now. Let me just say I'm changing, like as we speak, that's what my process right now. I'm changing strategy from this. I want to now just start talking to people and be like, okay, what's your thoughts? And then I want to now put my art. Like there's so many creative things people can do now. Throw it into that.
Okay. That's good. Like I think that whole thing of liking people's stuff and engaging, creating a community and engaging with people is so important, because you may find that maybe even 5 to 10 people who can relate to what you put out there, and it's very important. Please, people, please know, when someone asks you a question, just respond. And if you can't relate to it, it's okay. But those people who can relate, like someone puts out a story out there, not even just us, but any other creative, it helps a lot. It really does help a lot. You'll understand where people are, what kind of content you also want them to put out there and stuff like that. But yeah, it's important. Now, what do you feel like there was an influence from society, from family, from out there, like an outward influence on you, like when you were starting the business to where you are now, and stuff, maybe stuff out there that affected how you did things?
I'd say, I think it'd be family mostly, because I was talking about, okay, let me say school. Let me start with school. I had this science project that was a bit artsy. So I was talking to another cousin of mine, and she's like, you should go for this art show. Maybe we'll spark up something. So I started by going for one art show, and then from there I went to an art studio. I met now more people who are doing arts, and then when I went back to school, I was like, I have to do something artistic. Yeah. I'm not sure what it is. Do I do much? So I made my dad buy for me. But I have canvas. I still have that same canvas. I think I only can like a meter into it, and it was like 7 meters.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe I can paint. Maybe I can do t-shirts, because I was like, I have to do something artistic. And then I like design work. So when I was in school, in high school, my teacher was like, you, Marie, you're going to be a designer, graphic. Because I was like, I was very symmetrical, even painting, everything. So I was like, maybe that is gonna pull. So I just decided to go
with that.
with design.
Did you do? That's what you did in uni?
No.
What did you do in uni?
In bachelor's of science in chemistry and physics.
No.
That's what I was telling you. The idea I had to do some chemistry, but now some paint work, some glow in the dark, and just UV light. I was just like into art. So I was like, that was my whole side of art to it. It was just like, the science is gonna do something.
I'm actually mind blown. That's different. Like, oh my god. Oh my goodness. And how, like, now for that, was there any issue when you told guys, so now I really like, this is what I'm feeling right now?
I'm not yet decided.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just say I'm not yet decided, because I know at some point I'll leave the magazine.
Okay. You'll
own
have
it.
a team and you'll be like, you do this, you do that.
Yeah,
Boss babe.
I'll have it for the creatives, because I feel like it's part of my journey, but it's not what I really, because I'm feeling like I want to do more sciences and experimental stuff. I like experimenting. So that one I'll just like, I'll grow it to a certain point and then I leave it for the artists. As long as it's a space for artists now, I'll be content. And then I go back and do a bit of sciences. I like teaching, so a bit of teaching on the side. So once that is there, I'll be like, oh yeah, this is one of my babies. Yeah.
That's
good.
good.
This on the side.
I will pray for you to get there eventually when, everything is perfect for you to leave and be like, you know what? Yeah. Would you say you're a perfectionist?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So it's not been super hard where you put content, then you take it back and you're like, oh, I need to do this.
No.
Yeah.
Considering once I've done it, it's done.
It's done. Yeah.
I don't think so. Maybe not so much. Yeah. Because maybe only in photography. Maybe let's say I get a photographer, let's say in the starting, then on a picture, like you're seeing like they've captured the chair. They've taken a nice photo of you, but that chair was
it was it's there.
That's the only thing that bugs me out. Other than that, a few things, small things. Yeah. I'm not such a perfectionist.
Okay, so that journey has been easy for you. Okay, I think that is, it's good to know your story. It's good to know where you've come from, where you're heading to, and what, let's say, your end game is, which is for it to be a space for artists to showcase what they have. Keep it up. One thing I'll say is, look at it as you're saying, yes, it's your baby. Look at it as a very big space, because I don't think you realize what you're doing. Like, it's a big deal, because so many people out there, no one has heard of them, and that's what you're bringing to us. So don't lose sight of where you want it to go. Don't, because clearly I can tell you there's like Nini, you're in a box. The outside world, whatever they say, doesn't matter, which is a very good thing when it comes to creative spaces, because most creatives are affected and by what people say, what people do, and for you to have like that earplugs on when something is said, and you remove them, like, oh, okay, you like it, okay. And also, it doesn't look like it's out of pride or it's out of I don't care, but it's out of I know what I want to do. You have a plan set out, and it's going to go out there, and it's not affecting anyone negatively, which is a good thing. So keep it up.
Thank you.
So is there anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to say from your brand, you, to the people?
Yeah. To the people. I think we should, as much as, let me think nicely.
Okay.
support. I feel like a lot of creatives need that support,
Mm-hmm.
and I also feel that creatives should do more.
Mm-hmm.
Not just expect it, but also take the initiative on their side.
Mm-hmm.
Because we might feel, okay, fine, we might feel, oh, people don't like our work, people don't support our work, but also the approach you have with your work is something you should look at. Like, yes, okay, what I had, there's somebody else listening to radio, Jimani, he was like, find your niche. Yeah, he was like, find that niche of yours and then research that niche and find out what they like, and then from that they build your community, because they're the ones who share, they're the ones who push forward your work. So you should find a way. What you're doing is not wrong, it's just your strategy. Yeah, you should always just think of strategies. It's not the wrong way, it's just the wrong strategy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Wow. That one also has hit me because as a creative, I'm just like, yeah, I hope I'm doing things right. And sometimes, yes, it's true, we can be very lazy and we don't like push our stuff as much, or we don't think of new ideas, and it's just like you expect people to like what you have and you don't go over and above, which is also very important. Yeah, that's nice. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and thank you for giving us your story. This is very different from, I think, any other video I've ever done, because most of them are centered around as much as, yes, mental health, emotional well-being, there's family, nini, all those things, but this is very different, but it's also very, very relevant, especially now in the time we've lived for this past 9 months 8 9 months. Yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you for gracing the space, and I hope we'll have more conversations like this. Hopefully a few months or years down the line, we'll be like, see, remember they were talking that day? And yeah. So thank you for watching. I will link everything of hers down below. Her pages on Instagram, TikTok. TikTok. Yeah, all her pages for the magazine as well. And yeah, while you're at it, while you're waiting, while you're living your best life, don't forget to live a little, love a lot more, and dance always. Bye.